Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends for another special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a fellow that I picked up as the prize of the last team race. This is Mop, along with his high-resolution graphics. Anyway, Mop is a legendary, he's thunder, he's very spiritual, he's into family, but he is a villain. Everybody's got his downside, right? Unfortunately, Mop's other downside is that he showed up with 2 locked ruin slots, but perhaps he is worth the investment in gems to unlock. Let's find out. Alright, so we're going to put him over here for now until we move him over to his final destination. Well, he's very animated, isn't he? Yes, he is. Alright, so where is... Let me guess. I'm having trouble finding him. I'm sure he's in there somewhere, right? Alright, so this is Tar Hunt. No, this is not Tar Hunt. Tar Hunt. So he's a Mop and he's looking for Tar? I think that'd be the last thing he'd want to find. Okay, he blew himself up. Okay, save that for my enemies, please. Alright, so this is Mop. He is a legendary. He is Thunder. He has an evolving trait. So he starts being hardened. If you get him up to rank 3, he has self-precision. If you get him up to rank 5, he keeps the self-precision. And then he is then immune to control. As I understand it, he's an attacker, so being immune to control would be very good. It does work for Gelatron right out of the box, doesn't it? Alright, and let's take a look at some stats here. His strength is very good. His life, yeah, he's like... They just make everybody tanky these days, don't they? And his speed is actually very good too. Now, I don't know what kind of attacks he has, but I guess we're about to find out because we need to start feeding him. So let's get him up to 4 for his final evolution. And there he is right there with his magnificent mustache. Alright, so let's get on with the skills. Alright, so let's go to level 7. Feline Follies. Deals heavy special damage to one enemy. Applies bleed. That's his first skill? Okay, Heyman would take that in his final group of skills, you know, just saying. Obviously, he's a damage dealer, right? Alright, so let's continue, because I want to see what else he's got here, right? Alright. Blunt Sword. Deals thunder damage to all enemies. 50% chance of applying shock and stun to all enemies? That's a 0 cooldown. That's amazing. I mean, it's low, moderate damage, but stun and shock, and he can do it every round, even if it is a 50% chance. Okay, so I am very interested in his skills now. Alright, so let's continue to level 15. Galloping Gaucho? I hope he doesn't keep that one. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies quicksands to one enemy, gives extra turn to itself. Probably going to be keeping that one. That's a good question. It's really hard to take stuff like that out. Alright, I'm going to put it there. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put it there for now. I wouldn't want to put it in the second spot. I like big damage to be in the second spot. Single target big damage. Okay, so far he's got skills that Earl's Bodyguard would actually kill for. Alright, so let's continue. Actually, most creatures would. Level 20. Just you wait. Applies stun to all enemies. Applies shock to all enemies. Okay, he's a damage dealer, right? Alright, for now, I'm going to put that in the first spot because, you know, I would actually have no problem keeping that. Alright, so let's continue to level 25. Another skill. I eats me spinach. Applies double damage and double maximum health to itself. Applies damage mirror to its damage mirror and taunt to itself. Well, there's the question. Do I want that one? All right, I'll put it there for now. But I mean, that's what I mean. Do I want that one? You know, at the moment, I don't really need that anymore. I mean, just a 2-round cool. All right, I'm gonna take that one away. I'm gonna put that there in case I do decide to keep it. Double damage, double life, and a damage mirror. That is just really interesting. I mean, that's a lot of things that don't usually relate to each other, right? Okay, the taunt, the damage mirror, and the double life. Those all definitely relate to each other. But throwing in double damage in there too, that's Strange, but amazing. The double life is the only one that lasts for 2 rounds. I mean, that's pretty good right there. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that. All right, so let's continue, because he's obviously got a lot of great skills here. Fiddlesticks deals massive thunder damage to one enemy, applies daze to one enemy. All right, so here's my big single target hit with a 1-round cooldown. Well, I'm going to put it there, of course. That's like a no-brainer, right? All right, so let's continue to level 35. Puss gets the boot. Removes positive status effects from one enemy, applies stun and shock to one enemy. Okay, so that's a 1 individual control. It doesn't do any damage, but it's a 1 individual control. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I'm not even sure here now. I mean, that's a really good skill. It doesn't do damage, though. You know, I'm going to leave that for now. The reason I'm doing that is because basically it looks like a support skill. Supportish, deny-ish one. And I don't really think that's what he's supposed to do. I want to see the rest of his skills first. So let's continue. Should have at least 2 more. That's the one we just said no to. Like I said, we should get 2 more. And blunt sword. Okay, we got rid of that one earlier. Am I going to have to go fishing for them? Level 50. Dizzy Dishes. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies. Applies daze to all enemies. Alright, well that's damage right there. And it's the one thing he really didn't have is a group damage, right? You really have to make decisions regarding this guy, don't you? Do I want this extra turn one? I mean, what is it? It's low damage, and it's going to give quicksands and then an extra turn. I think I would rather hit all of them, considering his strength, so I'm going to put that in there. It seems to be the only skill he does have that's got the extra turn, so it really doesn't do anything. Yeah, it does reduce the cooldowns and such, but I mean, the skill itself doesn't really do enough to justify it. All right, well, let's get his last skill and then figure out what we're going to do with him. 55? Galloping Gooch. Okay, we've seen that one already. And finally, Feline Follies. All right, so that means I'm going to have to go looking for it. All right, so let's do that. Okay, here we go. Sinking in a bathtub. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy. Applies quicksands to one enemy. Deals moderate special damage to all enemies. Applies shock to all enemies. Alright, so that's kind of low physical damage, but it does a bunch here, right? It's going to hit one individual twice. That individual is going to get quicksands. Then it comes back and hits everybody else. Although the damage gauge, what is the damage gauge looking at, though? Is it giving me the rating for the first attack or the second attack? Or is it the exact same damage for both of them? Anyway, one individual will come out of this with a little extra damage and quicksands and shock. Alright, so let's think about this. Now, the first one looks really good, but that is really the kind of thing you'd put on denial. Do you want him doing that? Obviously, we're keeping that because that's a huge damage, right? Huge damage. Now, this one does... do I want to swap that one in? I mean, I'll lose damage on the situation, but daze is nothing to write home about, right? All right, what do we got here? I eat me spinach. All right, now this one is very good. I mean, he already has tanky type of life, so this will actually work for him, and it can be a great get-out-of-jail-free card if your team ends up being in trouble, right? He can just do taunting, double his life, and put a damage mirror on too, which means he'll reflect damage back. And of course, give him double damage so that when his next turn comes up, he'll be doing double damage. So I think I keep this one, right? And I keep this one because this is his big single target hit. With his strength and the strength you're liable to put on him, it's going to do a lot of damage. Do I want him doing this? So this one, what would I swap in for that one? Hold it a minute. This is a group attack here. I mean, this is useful, but this is like a denial thing going on, except for the shock. what would I lead off with? I mean, this is his best group hit, but unfortunately, it just has days in it. If sinking a bathtub actually had... I might have to test that one to see what the damage is, because the bar... Is the bar telling me the damage of the first attack, the second one, the group one, or is it the same damage for both of them? Do I want him to do denial? That's the thing. I mean, there's no damage along with this, so this really does seem to be kind of a waste. I mean, do I use him for denial, or do I keep his tanking function? The thing is, the tanking function also gives him double damage. I think it's for 1 round, though. Yeah, 1 round. So that means his next attack is going to be really heavy. So you'd probably want to use maybe like this or the other one. This one, I'm going to have to test this one. What else do we have here? This one is very useful. You can get rid of a shield, or you can get rid of immunity to stun and then re-stun somebody, you know? Mind you, I mean temporary immunity, not like a trait or something like that. This one is nice, but obviously this one's out of the picture. I don't think that one is really... So does this one actually give him anything? I got the extra turn here, I got the damage, and we're adding quicksands. But I mean, I have the other one, which is going to give quicksands to 1. So I don't think this one really helps any. I mean, we got this one, it's a 1 round cooldown. Of course, I could just use this one and come back with the other one, but it is a single target one. Very tricky here, very tricky. I mean, this right here is not a bad hit, especially considering it was his first one. And it also gives bleeding. That's the only one of his attacks that actually gives bleeding. He does a lot of shocking, he does stunning, and he's got... the first one, he's got quicksands in 2 of them, right? See, this is his biggest group damage attack, which is the reason I don't know if I want to lose that one. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put sinking in a bathtub in for this one, because I'm going to want to test how much damage this actually does do. I don't know if I want him doing denial and the tanking one. It's just, if he's supposed to be a damage dealer, I want him doing damage. So I'm going to put that in. All right, so we have this one. I need to investigate how much damage this is actually going to do. This one we're definitely keeping. Now, this one is his best group damage. Unfortunately, it just has days, by itself. So if it was something else, that would be great. If it was like days and shock, that would be much better, obviously. But it is a lot of physical damage, something you could come back with after you have the double damage. All right, so we got 2 round cooldown, we got a 1 round cooldown, we got a 3 round cooldown. I don't know, the extra turn, I don't see anything that I could really take out. So I think I might end up going with just you wait when I finally finish him. It's just that I do want to see what this does, right? I want to see what this does. So I want to test with this one. I mean, the damage gauge, is it the first attack or is it the second attack to the group? That's really kind of what I want to see. It might be the same value twice. We'll have to see. Anyway, I think that's one we'll stick with. Okay, so let's look at his stats. Wow, his strength is really good. 2331. That is, he's going to do a lot of damage with that. His life, obviously, he's kind of tanky, but in this case, he's actually going to make use of that, isn't he? So especially with the double life part, too. His speed is actually really good. I mean, his speed is right there, something you might like from denial, kind of. It's not all the way up there. Usually your best kind of denial would be like a 2240 or 50 or something like that. But it's pretty darn good right there. So he's going to be pretty darn fast. I don't really see why I would want to put speed on him, though. It's just that his skills really don't take too much advantage of that. I mean, he's got the tanking one where he's going to do double damage. But I mean, you're probably not going to lead with that one, I mean, that's kind of like an emergency situation. You're going to have his other skills doing damage. So I would think probably like support speed. Anyway, let's take a look at the skills that I selected. All right, let's start with sinking in a bathtub. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies quicksands to one enemy. Deals moderate special damage to all enemies, applies shock to all enemies. So you're going to target one individual. He's going to get a moderate special damage hit. He's going to get quicksands unless he resists it. And then you're going to hit the entire group with moderate special damage and give all of them shock. So one individual is going to take 2 hits and may have 2 torture effects on them. So I would be very interested in how much damage each of those hits does. So I'm very likely going to be keeping this, but I really want to see how much damage it does. I took something out which is very powerful, but I don't really know if it hits his job, right? That's the stun and the shock. I'm getting the shock from this one, and I'm also getting damage, but I don't really know if it's his job to do stunning. All right, then we have this one. Fiddlesticks deals massive thunder damage to one enemy, applies daze to one enemy. Unfortunately, he does a lot of dazing, with his big damage. His big damage seems to be dazing. There's this one, which is a very good single target thunder hit. With his strength and the strength runes you're probably going to put on him, he's going to do a lot of damage with this one, especially if it's like a water creature or something. He might just one-shot them. So that's a really good hit right there. And then we have this one. Dizzying Dishes. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies, applies daze to all enemies. So he's doing more dazing here. And this is his best damage group attack. So you can see it's high and moderate damage. So this will actually do some good damage. Once again, if it's somebody who's susceptible to it, like a water creature, definitely going to do some extra damage there. I would have preferred something other than daze though, but that's just me. All right, and then we have I Eats Me Spinach. Maybe I should name him Popeye. Applies double damage and double maximum life to itself. Applies damage mirror and taunt to itself. All right, so this is in a pinch, he can taunt. He's going to get the single target attacks. He's going to have double life when it happens, and the double life lasts for 2 turns. He's going to taunt, and then he's also going to have a damage mirror, which means he's going to take the damage from the hits, but then he's going to reflect it back on the individuals who attacked him. So that can be very useful in a pinch if he's protecting party members, which is a little strange because he's the damage dealer. Generally speaking, you want someone to protect the damage dealers. So I'm guessing he's going to be protecting Denial and the other ones. Although he does have that skill that I didn't take, which was Denial. Yeah, his skills are a little bit on the strange side. Except for Fiddlesticks, the one thing this damage dealer seems to be missing is damage. I guess it really depends on what this is, right? So I'd like to see what that second attack does. The first one might be this bar right here, which means it's low moderate. I'd like to see what the second attack does and then make a final decision of whether I want to bring the stun back or not. It's just weird because he's got tanking stuff and then he's also got denial stuff. He has another single target skill that I didn't take, which removes positive stats effects from an enemy, then stuns them and puts shock on them. So, that's the kind of thing that... It doesn't do damage, though. That's the thing. It doesn't do damage. Just like the stunning attack doesn't do damage. So it's a complete waste of his strength and the damage you're probably going to put on him. Could you make him denial? With the stuns, you probably could if you wanted to. It would be a little strange, but his base speed is good enough that if you piled up speed on him, you really could do that if you wanted to in a pinch. Thunder Denial, it's not as prevalent as other ones, and a lot of it usually is stunning. But you could do that if you wanted to. If you wanted him to be a denial, you could do that, right? What you could do is you could then take this off and put the other skill back that removed the positive status effects and did the stun. That way, if you let off with the stuns and someone has an immunity because they were stunned, you could just remove the immunity to stun, the temporary one, and re-stun them again. So you really could make a denial out of him if you wanted to, and then you'd probably keep this one, not really for the damage, but you'd keep it for the torture effects, which really wouldn't be something that means much in terms of his damage. This one, you could always keep this one, or you could put the extra turn one back. So, you could make a denial out of him if you wanted. His skills are kind of weird. He's like got the strength of a massive damage dealer, but he's got one big damaging skill, and that's about it. Yeah, the Daze group attack, you could say that, but I mean, with that kind of strength, it really should be high damage. Anyway, this is Mop. It's really hard to say if he's really good. He's got great skills, but they're all over the place, you know? So we'll have to actually start goofing around with him to see what he's like. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games, because games are fun. See ya.